Fake love is one of the most powerful silent forces that can reshape your brain, drain your energy, and slowly dismantle your joy without you even realizing it. Fake love does not always come with cruelty or loud rejection. Often it comes wrapped in smiles, empty promises, conditional affection, and emotional inconsistency. Your brain is wired to seek connection, safety, and belonging, especially as we age, when companionship and emotional security become even more important. When that need is met with false affection, your nervous system stays in a constant state of confusion. Dopamine spikes when attention is given, cortisol rises when it is withdrawn, and over time your brain becomes trapped in a cycle of emotional stress that feels familiar but never feels peaceful. Fake love creates a powerful emotional illusion that quietly reshapes the brain over time, not through obvious harm but through inconsistency, uncertainty, and conditional affection that keeps the nervous system on constant alert. The brain is designed to seek safety and connection, and when love is unpredictable, it triggers a cycle of emotional highs and lows that confuse the mind and exhaust the body. Dopamine is released during moments of attention or approval, giving brief feelings of pleasure. But when that affection is withdrawn, stress hormones like cortisol surge, placing the brain in a state of emotional survival. Over time, this pattern trains the brain to associate love with anxiety rather than peace, making chaos feel normal and calm feel unfamiliar. For older adults, this effect can be especially damaging because emotional stability becomes more important for overall health, yet the brain may cling to familiar patterns even when they are harmful. Fake love conditions the mind to constantly seek validation, replay conversations, overthink intentions, and doubt self-worth, slowly eroding confidence and inner strength. This ongoing emotional tension prevents the brain from entering restorative states necessary for healing, repair, and clarity. Sleep becomes lighter, thoughts become repetitive, and the body remains tense even during rest. The immune system weakens under prolonged stress, inflammation increases, and energy levels decline, often mistaken as signs of aging rather than emotional overload. The most dangerous aspect of fake love is that it feels real enough to keep the brain invested, yet empty enough to never provide true emotional nourishment. The brain adapts to this imbalance by lowering expectations, suppressing intuition, and normalizing emotional discomfort, which further deepens the cycle. Over time, the individual may lose touch with what genuine care feels like. Believing love must always come with uncertainty or effort. This rewiring does not happen overnight, but it is powerful precisely because it is gradual and subtle. The good news is that the brain is not permanently damaged by these patterns. Once fake love is recognized for what it is, awareness alone begins to weaken its hold. When emotional consistency, self-respect, and inner calm replace external validation, the brain slowly relearns safety and balance. Neural pathways associated with peace, confidence, and clarity begin to strengthen, proving that no matter the age, the mind has the ability to heal, reset, and return to a state where love feels supportive rather than draining, steady rather than stressful, and real rather than conditional. When emotional inconsistency becomes a regular part of life, the body responds as if it is under constant threat, even when no physical danger is present. The brain cannot distinguish between emotional stress and physical stress, so it activates the same survival mechanisms that were meant to protect us in emergencies. Stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline remain elevated for long periods, keeping the nervous system stuck in a fight or flight state. This constant hormonal imbalance quietly wears down the body, weakening the immune system and making it harder to fight infections, heal injuries, or recover from illness. For older adults, this can mean more frequent sickness, slower healing, and a general sense of fatigue that seems to have no clear cause. Sleep becomes disrupted because the brain cannot fully relax, leading to shallow rest, frequent waking, or early morning anxiety. Without deep restorative sleep, the body loses its ability to repair tissues, regulate hormones, and maintain emotional balance. Digestion is also affected as stress redirects blood flow away from the gut, slowing metabolism and interfering with nutrient absorption. This can lead to bloating, discomfort, changes in appetite, or unexplained weight gain or loss. Over time, chronic emotional stress increases inflammation throughout the body, which accelerates aging at a cellular level and contributes to joint pain, stiffness, cardiovascular strain, and cognitive decline. Many people accept these changes as a normal part of growing older, unaware that unresolved emotional stress is often the underlying cause. The body holds onto emotional tension in muscles, posture, and breathing patterns, creating persistent tightness in the neck, shoulders, chest, and lower back. This physical tension further reinforces mental stress, creating a loop that becomes difficult to break without awareness. The tragedy of this process is that it unfolds quietly without dramatic warning signs, gradually draining vitality and joy. However, once the connection between emotional stress and physical health is recognized, the body can begin to recover. Lowering emotional stress allows cortisol levels to normalize, sleep to deepen, digestion to improve, and inflammation to decrease. The body responds quickly when given safety and consistency, proving that many signs of aging are not inevitable but reversible. When emotional peace replaces constant stress, the body regains strength, resilience, and energy, allowing older adults to experience life with greater comfort. Real healing begins the moment the nervous system no longer feels the need to stay on guard, and this sense of safety is created through consistency, truth, and self-respect rather than emotional intensity or approval from others. The brain thrives on predictability because predictability signals safety, and when life becomes emotionally stable, the mind finally has permission to relax. For many older adults, years of emotional strain have trained the nervous system to expect disappointment or conflict, making calm feel unfamiliar or even uncomfortable at first. This is why healing is not about chasing happiness, but about restoring balance. When daily routines are steady, meals are regular, sleep times are consistent, and emotional boundaries are respected, the brain slowly shifts out of survival mode. Stress hormones decrease, breathing deepens, and the body begins to repair itself in ways that were previously impossible. Truth plays a powerful role in healing because honesty with oneself removes the mental strain of denial. When a person acknowledges what no longer serves them, the brain stops wasting energy on confusion and self-doubt. Self-respect reinforces this process by sending a clear message that emotional well-being matters. Each time you choose rest over exhaustion, nourishment over neglect, or peace over drama, the nervous system learns that it is safe to let go. Over time, emotional clarity replaces mental fog and reactions become calmer rather than reactive. Healing also involves learning to sit with quiet moments without feeling the need to fill them with distraction or validation. Silence allows the brain to reorganize and reset, strengthening neural pathways associated with calm and confidence. As safety becomes the new emotional baseline, the body responds with improved digestion, better sleep, and reduced inflammation. The immune system becomes stronger because it is no longer suppressed by chronic stress. The heart rate stabilizes, blood pressure improves, and energy levels increase naturally. Healing does not require perfection or force, only consistency and patience. The nervous system responds best to small, repeated signals of care rather than dramatic changes. This is why simple habits practiced daily are more powerful than occasional intense efforts. As the brain relearns safety, emotional triggers lose their power, and old patterns begin to dissolve. The individual no longer feels pulled toward chaos or emotional uncertainty because peace now feels familiar. This transformation is not a matter of age but of awareness, proving that true healing is always available when safety, truth, and self-respect guide daily life clarity. And renewed vitality, a nourishing diet, and proper hydration are not just about physical strength. They are powerful tools for calming the brain and repairing the damage caused by prolonged emotional stress. Every cell in the body depends on nutrients to function properly, and the brain is especially sensitive to what it receives on a daily basis. When the body is under emotional strain, it burns through vitamins, minerals, and energy at a much faster rate, leaving the nervous system depleted and reactive. This is why poor food choices often intensify anxiety, fatigue, and low mood rather than satisfying hunger. Whole foods such as fresh vegetables, fruits, healthy fats, and quality protein provide the building blocks the brain needs to regulate mood, stabilize blood sugar, and reduce inflammation. Hydration is equally essential because even mild dehydration increases cortisol levels and impairs concentration, memory, and emotional control. For older adults, thirst signals become weaker with age, making regular water intake even more important for maintaining mental clarity and physical balance. Eating at consistent times sends a message of safety to the brain, reducing stress responses and supporting digestive health. Highly processed foods, excess sugar, and stimulants can overstimulate the nervous system, creating emotional spikes and crashes that mimic the effects of emotional inconsistency. When the diet becomes simple, clean, and predictable, the brain begins to relax. Nutrients such as magnesium, omega fatty acids, and B vitamins support nerve function and help calm overstimulated pathways. As inflammation decreases, joint pain, brain fog, and fatigue often improve naturally. Proper nourishment also supports gut health, which plays a critical role in emotional regulation through the gut-brain connection. A healthy digestive system produces neurotransmitters that influence mood, motivation, and resilience. When the body is nourished consistently, cravings driven by emotional stress begin to fade and appetite becomes more balanced. Food then becomes a source of support rather than compensation. Over time, the brain associates nourishment with care and stability, reinforcing a sense of self-worth and emotional safety. This daily act of feeding the body with intention becomes a form of self-respect that strengthens both physical and emotional resilience. As the nervous system calms, sleep improves, energy stabilizes, and the body regains its natural ability to heal and renew itself, demonstrating that true nourishment is not about restriction or perfection, but about providing the brain and body with what they need to feel safe, supported, and balanced. Light exercise and mindful lifestyle habits play a powerful role in releasing emotional tension that the body has stored over many years, especially tension created by chronic stress and emotional inconsistency. When the body remains still for long periods, stress hormones have no outlet and they become trapped in the muscles, joints, and nervous system. Gentle movements such as walking, stretching, slow strength exercises, or simple balance practices allows the body to complete the stress response and return to a state of calm. Movement improves circulation, bringing oxygen and nutrients to the brain while flushing out stress chemicals that contribute to anxiety and fatigue. For older adults, light exercise is not about pushing limits, but about restoring trust in the body and rebuilding a sense of ease. When movement is consistent and enjoyable, the brain begins to associate activity with comfort rather than effort or fear. This shift in perception is essential for emotional healing. Lifestyle habits such as waking with natural light, limiting screen exposure in the evening, and creating regular moments of quiet help regulate the circadian rhythm, which directly influences mood and hormonal balance. Deep breathing, especially slow nasal breathing, signals the nervous system that it is safe to relax, lowering heart rate and blood pressure. These simple habits interrupt the cycle of emotional rumination by bringing attention back to the present moment. Over time, the body becomes less reactive to emotional triggers because it has learned new ways to discharge stress. Posture improves, muscles soften, and breathing becomes deeper and more natural. This physical relaxation sends feedback to the brain, reinforcing emotional calm and mental clarity. As movement and mindful routines become part of daily life, emotional attachment to unhealthy patterns begins to weaken. The body no longer seeks intensity to feel alive because it is already receiving steady stimulation and nourishment. Sleep improves as the nervous system settles, allowing deeper rest and better recovery. Energy levels become more consistent throughout the day, reducing reliance on stimulants or emotional distractions. These changes may feel subtle at first, but their cumulative effect is profound. The body remembers how to move without tension, the mind remembers how to be present without fear, and emotional resilience grows naturally. Through simple, intentional habits practiced daily, the individual regains a sense of control, stability, and confidence, proving that healing does not require extreme effort, but gentle consistency that honors the body's natural rhythms and capacity for renewal. The brain's ability to rewire itself is one of the most hopeful truths about human health, especially for older adults who may believe that change is no longer possible. Neuroplasticity does not disappear with age, it simply responds more strongly to consistency, intention, and emotional clarity. Every thought you repeat, every habit you practice, and every choice you make sends a signal that strengthens certain neural pathways while weakening others. When a person chooses self-love over self-doubt, clarity over confusion, and peace over emotional chaos, the brain begins to reorganize itself around these healthier patterns. This process may feel slow at first, but it is always active beneath the surface. As emotional triggers are no longer reinforced, the brain reduces its stress responses, and the nervous system becomes calmer and more balanced. Choosing genuine connection plays a key role in this transformation because real relationships provide consistency, respect, and emotional safety, which the brain recognizes as nourishment. Even one honest, supportive connection can begin to undo years of emotional strain. Over time, confidence grows not from external validation but from inner stability. The mind becomes less reactive, less fearful, and more grounded in the present moment. This inner shift influences physical health as well, improving sleep, digestion, posture, and overall energy. The brain releases more calming neurotransmitters, allowing joy and contentment to arise naturally rather than being chased. As clarity replaces confusion, decision-making becomes easier, and boundaries feel less threatening and more empowering. The individual begins to trust their intuition again, recognizing emotional red flags without doubt or guilt. Life no longer feels like something to endure, but something to participate in fully. This renewed sense of agency is deeply healing because it restores a feeling of purpose and control. Aging then becomes a process of refinement rather than decline, guided by wisdom instead of fear. Each day becomes an opportunity to reinforce healthier pathways through small, meaningful actions. With patience and self-compassion, the brain continues to adapt, proving that emotional balance, confidence, and well-being are not limited by age but expanded through awareness, choice, and consistent care for the mind and body. As Dr. Alan Mandell often reminds us, health is not just physical, it is emotional, mental, and spiritual alignment. When you let go of fake love, you are not losing something. You are gaining your life back. You are giving your brain permission to rest, your heart permission to heal, and your body permission to thrive. Choose real nourishment, real movement, real habits, and real love, starting with yourself. Your future self will thank you for the peace you choose today.